Coming to you live from the Cross Country Mortgage Campus in Berea, Ohio, this is Cleveland Browns Daily on 850 ESPN Cleveland. Here are your hosts, Beau Bishop and Nathan Zegura.
Awesome.
Sure. You guys ready? Alrighty, you guys are up. All right, let's do it live on a Thursday edition of the program. It feels like Friday to me. No give-a, so we're run amok.
Yesterday was First Friday.
First Friday, so
Today's Thursday.
I partook.
Same.
I am so excited for the you sent me 2 text images yesterday that had both. I was equally excited about both. So the first one, and I think you talked about this did we talk about this on the show, or is this in a break? Sometimes it all just flows together for me, and I can't remember what we talked about or not, was what you're doing with the tequila. So this is a tremendous...
I think we did talk about it in a break because we were talking about how much we enjoyed the bourbon apple pie. But
that's
then
right.
We can't. You have to keep it special. So I was like, why don't I infuse a tequila with? And so I did. I did do that. And with your help, we arrived. Turns out even less pineapple than you and I had thought. 3 chunks goes a long way.
Goes a long way.
Yeah. So
it's a juicy, meaty fruit.
It is. But I picked the chunks that were the. Not the overripe ones where they're already kind of falling apart and getting stringy. Yeah. I wanted the very still together chunks.
I like where your head's at there.
So I did that. So anyway, what we're talking about is, yes, I did. I infused a bottle of Terramana, the Rocks tequila, the fastest selling.
Well, he's having a tough time
moving
moving that too, by the way, it seems. Like he's having a real hard time getting people to identify that as a brand that people want. And so I just wish him the best of luck. I saw him on Instagram today wishing his good friend Jeffrey Bezos happy birthday. So there you go. Just a
if you would have told The Rock when he was sleeping on a soiled mattress without sheets in Canada with $7 to his name, hence $7 production, that he would now be this person 30 years later, it's probably inconceivable to him. And yet here he is. It's probably the most popular person on the planet. I mean, he really
Well, he's reached the point, like, from a product launch standpoint with, like, I think like Rihanna did this at one time with makeup, and like the Kardashians do this. Like his ability to launch a product. I mean, obviously we could do this on the show.
Like this, I imagine we could sell this bad boy.
You could sling that thing out for sure.
Shout out McD, Birdie, birthday anniversary, Bridget.
Oh.
So a lot of love for her on the show today.
Absolutely. Anyway, so you're taking the Terramana. You got the pineapple, and then you're going to do.
Then I put 2 habaneros in.
Did you muddle those at all, or did you just slice them and cut them?
Sliced them, cut them, and I did 1 dab of maybe like a clump of 6 seeds because I didn't want to get crazy.
Yeah. So then the question will be, at what my hunch is that if I'm doing this, and I may do this, although I've never had tequila with pineapple and habanero, but it seems like it would be great.
Yeah.
The fact that you just did that leads me to believe that I know that I have to.
Yes.
So
when you go,
I would say like a week. I would want to know. I'd want to get a whiff and see where we're at.
Oh, I whiffed this morning, and it's
already happening.
Oh, it's happening. Yeah, it's a happening monsoon. Yeah, it's happening. I'll have you know, when you go to Mexico and you go into not a taqueria that's designed to attract tourists, but when you say, "Hey, take me to like where you go and eat," and you go into those taquerias, the main condiment that is on your table is freshly sliced pineapple with bits of orange in it. And you're like,
okay.
Oh, I wonder what those orange things are. Well, it turns out those are also fresh habanero. So that is what they like to put, especially on an al pastor. I mean, you can't beat a fresh al pastor with a little bit of that pineapple habanero. And then now we're taking it into Terramana, the fastest selling spirit in the history of the world.
I like where your head's at. The second image you sent me was less glamorous. So as we're leaving the show yesterday, and yet just as satisfying. As we're leaving the show yesterday, we're packing up to go, and you scream as if you have been shot. I mean, it sounds like you've been shot, is what it seems like to me. Like someone has shot you in the facility, and you came in here, and it was hard. You were inconsolable.
I was hopping around. There was
in pain. There were tears.
Profanity.
For sure, profanity. Yeah. You were in pain. It was, and I thought, my God, are you okay? And then explain what happened.
All right, so here, go ahead. You hold this and give this. Do some
of
this
this
with it.
We'll
I want
save
you
that
to talk
for the
about
end.
the heft.
We'll save that for the end. Just
what was I doing? So
what happened?
This iPad, which is an iPad Pro, an old one.
Yep.
The old 17-incher here. And I feel like there's some heft here. I went somehow, I still don't really know how it is, to put this into my backpack like this. So totally vertical.
Yep.
I must have turned my head to like look at something or somebody, talk to you guys, whiffed. So I just drop it and let it go. And it comes down pure as the driven snow at the base of my big toenail, which it left it bloodied and bruised, as the picture I sent you showed. But, I mean, feel this. Like, what do you think this is? How many pounds are you talking here?
Before I hold it,
all right,
when you first told me this, when you first told me what happened, I thought, come on, dude. I mean, what are you talking about? You hit so you hit a toe with an iPad. Poor you. Give me a break. So then, like, grow up. Come on. How bad can this be? And so then I see this image from the toe. What was unaware to me at the time was the landing spot of the pad. So that's a game changer because that's about as painful. Anytime you have any sort of nail versus connection to appendage problems.
Very sensitive
Gets
area.
Very sensitive area. So that would have added it to me understanding the pain you were in. And so now let's do the weight of the iPad.
I feel it's just.
Oh, it's a lot more than I thought.
This is substantial,
I mean,
dude.
It's more than this the MacBook I have here. This weighs more.
I'm saying I think this is a good at least 5.
Oh yeah,
at least.
At
and
least.
It was a
direct hit.
and dropped because I was dropping it in. So
velocity.
Some velocity. E equals MC squared, brother, and that all added up to pain.
It was an incredible image.
It
really
so.
was. I was
like Kurt Schilling out there. I was tough.
Yeah.
I even went to the gym afterwards and I battled through it. And not to say that I didn't feel it
sock?
on some of my squats. I did. Well, I didn't want to look at the sock until I got home.
Oh, you went straight from here to there.
Yeah. I was like, listen, you got to play through pain. As Andrew Barry said, at the end of the season, everybody's in a little bit of pain. You got to play through it. That's what I did.
You got to sort it out. You got to play through it. Do we have news? There's some reports about Chris Kiffin, perhaps, moving on.
So the report is, at this point, and this is from Rivals Chase Parham on Twitter, saying, hearing Chris Kiffin has accepted a position on his brother Lane Kiffin's Ole Miss staff. Chris was most recently with the Browns, was on Hugh Freeze's staff with the Rebels as well, so that'd be a second go-round there. If that is, in fact, the case, and at this point there would be no reason to believe that it was not the case, but if that is, in fact, the case, and with the news that Jeremy Garrett, the assistant D-line coach, went to Liberty to accept their defensive line coach position there, that the Browns now do not have a coach for the defensive line. And so, there's often a lot of turnover on staffs or changes, and we thought this was a staff that was going to be rated heavily after this season. I really did, especially if the team had, performed to the level that we expected. But that didn't happen, but the Browns are still going to that's going to be a place that they're going to have to look in with the talented defensive line room, and obviously Clowney's free agency that's looming out there. That's going to be something I think the Browns would want to shore up and also do perhaps in consultation with, a Miles and even maybe Clowney. Get somebody that, Clowney likes in here as well.
Well, I mean, I think you've reached that point.
Nana's sad about my toe. Thank you, Mom.
Ask Nana how she would have nursed that. What would have been
She
her?
was a wound care nurse.
That's why am I hard to knowing who wound care nurses are? Of course I knew that.
I'm already trained. Hydrogen peroxide right on it, and then I get a little dab of that. See if it bubbles. That's no bubble. Great sign.
Great sign. Yeah.
Yeah, and then a little Neosporin on there. Good to go. I'm fresh as a daisy now. I mean, it's sore. I'm not gonna lie. There is residual pain, but I'm a gamer. No excuses. Play like a champion.
It was real. I mean, it was real.
Oh, it was real pain because it was.
I thought you were indulging.
It was unexpected too. Remember, I thought I'm just dropping my iPad into my backpack, and the next thing I know, it drops onto my toe. You go to the gym and you drop a 5-pound dumbbell straight down on your toe. Guess what? It's not going to feel good.
No.
And this is a point. And look, as you can see, my case has seen better days. So perhaps I caught a corner. We don't know.
Yeah, it's been a while since I've seen an iPad. I mean, it's been a while.
This is like a supercomputer. They don't even make these anymore.
They don't make those anymore. Like my kids have them, but they're much smaller than that.
Yes. Yeah. Bryce's is like, yay big.
Yeah, much more navigable. It's sturdy. It's sturdy, and it causes a lot of pain. So it's you would say if that's where you're at, And certainly we talked yesterday from a front office standpoint how Kwesi and Glenn were, the Bears have requested permission on those guys.
And the Vikings now as well.
Vikes too. Okay, so there's a couple of instances there.
What if they travel together?
I mean, split a NetJets or
who knows?
Yeah.
Like if somebody, if somebody wanted to interview you and I for, like we'll call it
for the same job if we were competing?
Bengals Daily or something, would we go down there together?
Bengals Daily. My God. I mean, give us a location, sir.
All right. ACD. Come on, you know it.
ACD?
Yeah.
ACD? That's where it's at.
That's where it's at.
That's a nice ring to it, ACD.
ACD?
Yeah, it's got a nice ring.
See?
Yeah, I like it. Would we you and I would travel together,
Of course.
I think, if they were
We'd thrive.
with that. We would thrive in that manner.
We'd sell them on, we'd be like, how about both of us? Why one?
Why
you know what's
stop?
better than one of us?
Two.
Both of us.
Both. Who's stopping you?
I wonder
man?
if that's part of their pitch. I hope not. I want them to stay here. But I also would be thrilled for their success.
Well, that's the hard part about about anything in life where people thrive and then they move on. You want to keep as many of them as you can. I think you made a good point though when it comes to kind of what we thought might happen. And again, this is all just starting. What do we have? 7 NFL jobs open. So this is all just starting in terms of coaching staffs, front office. 3 of those are full-fledged. I mean, Bears, Vikings, Giants are front office and coach, all 3 of those. So there could be a lot of movement around the league here in the next month as these positions start to be filled. But it is possible that it's not quite as big of an exodus as we would have thought at the beginning of the year.
No, and I think, that's a good thing. And I think you have so many quality coaches on the staff that you certainly want to be able to bring it back intact. And it looks that, with the exception of the D-line room, as of today, you have an opportunity to do that. I just came across a press release that I read, and it is stupefying to me.
Go.
And I'd like to read it to you
and
get your thoughts.
I haven't read it. I have no point of reference of what you're about to read me. Go.
This is a press release from today, January 13th, 2022. Today, the Washington football team announced a Park and Party tailgate experience sponsored by Bud Light at FedEx Field on Friday night, February the 4th, to celebrate the reveal of the team's name and brand identity. Okay. The event will headline a series of fan-focused events and surprise moments throughout D.C., Maryland, and Virginia as part of the official team brand launch beginning on February the 2nd. So they're revealing the name.
Wait a second.
On February the 2nd in New York.
Wait, hold on. So hold on. So the name is known on February 2nd.
That's right.
And why are they doing it in New York?
I don't know. I don't know why that's where it is. But
and then after that they're going to celebrate it
on the 4th. The the event. Why not just announce it at the event?
At the event. Yeah. I mean, years ago, I hosted an event here when we redid the uniforms that was quite the gala. And I remember Brian Hartline, among others, Dante Whitner, among others, in uniforms celebrating that.
You did.
Remember that? That was fun.
And you were led down a path where you were expecting something different under those parkas.
There is no question. And that my surprise was a genuine surprise.
Yeah.
Truly genuine surprise.
Stunned.
Stunned would be, really? I think it's fair, yeah. But that's the type of thing you want to do in those circumstances is you want to build to the unveil. Once you've done the unveil.
Listen to the last paragraph.
Go ahead.
In addition to the Park and Party event, there will be a variety of surprise opportunities for fans to be a part of the name and brand reveal across the DMV starting on February the 2nd. Select new merchandise will also be available at the team store at FedEx Field and online beginning February 2nd. Fans should continue to check WashingtonFootball.com/22222222 for additional details on all activities leading up to 2/2/22. Yet, the party.
Read the first sentence again now that we have it all sorted out. Just read
Today, the Washington football team announced a Park and Party tailgate experience sponsored by Bud Light at FedEx Field on Friday night, February the 4th, to celebrate the reveal of the team's name and brand identity. End sentence. That sentence alone leads you to believe this is all happening on the 4th. And then as you go through it, we're actually revealing it on the 2nd, and you can buy the merchandise on the 2nd, but we're not having the party the 4th.
What am I getting out of the party?
I don't know, but why not just make it all together?
The gear is available the 2nd.
Do it all together.
The gear's available at the stadium and online the 2nd.
Right.
So there isn't anything. What is so special about the 4th? Just move that whole thing to the 2nd.
I think because it's a Friday night. So I would just delay the 2nd to the 4th.
Delay the 2nd and make it the 4th. That's what you do. That's how you handle it.
That is a That's
This is the first. I mean, this is the first rebrand since what? The Titans?
well, they moved though.
I understand, but in terms, they did take that. They were the Tennessee Titans, or I'm sorry, they were the Tennessee Oilers in the beginning. It was a couple years before they became the Tennessee Titans.
You're right. Yeah, I think so.
But this is the first on the fly rebrand in the NFL
that I can think of.
I mean, you have to you go back to the 20s and 30s, and there was all that type of stuff. But yeah, it's very rare that you have something like this. There's almost the other thing about
it's
this.
So rare. It's how you end up with the Utah Jazz and the LA Lakers.
Right.
That's how rare this is.
And the Memphis Grizzlies.
Right.
A lot of Grizzlies.
A lot of Grizzlies around
Western
Memphis.
Tennessee.
Look out. Look out.
Yeah. Jeez. Those are the three worst ever. There can't be anything worse than those three.
Incredible.
I don't know that people are – the Lakers have been the Lakers for so long, and it sounds so good off your tongue. I don't even know that people are aware of what it was about or why they were.
But they came from Minneapolis.
The land of 10,000 lakes. I don't think many people are aware of that. But the Jazz is – you couldn't get more.
There's a huge jazz scene in Utah.
You ought to just swap them because they're very likely are Grizzlies in Utah. The Rocky Mountains are in Utah. The Utah Grizzlies – and the Memphis Jazz, that at least, I mean, it's not New Orleans, but at least, Blues, Memphis, there's at least,
You could even do a three-way. Get the Lakers to Utah. Salt Lake City?
It feels like that's impossible.
Utah Lakers?
I think it's impossible to move off Lakers, LA, clearly. But
the LA Jazz.
Yeah, LA Jazz. Yeah. Yeah. It's a lot on it.
Yeah, so this was forced. I guess the other one, and actually as we're sitting here acting like it doesn't happen, it happened right here in our city, the Guardians.
Right. No, for sure. No, it definitely has happened, and it happened throughout college with the Native Americans. Sure. Several of those teams switched.
Miami.
Right, absolutely. Syracuse, Illinois, there's a bunch of them. North Dakota. Of course, Florida State didn't have to because they found a way to make it right with everybody in the Seminole tribe, but most of them have moved off of it. But if you miss, it's tough. And people are, man, you mess with the brand. Brands are, you think about how that has to be right. Yeah. It has to be right because it's the tie that binds, right? I mean, that image, that brand, the nostalgia in it, that there is something that you can't even put a price on that. And if you screw that up, it's really hard to get it back.
It is. And I based on what you said are the things that are
out there don't seem like they're going to hit.
I'm so mad if it's not the Red Hogs. It's just so perfect. Got a cool logo, everything.
Yeah, it felt like they had everything. All right, a lot of fun on the program. You'll hear from Coach Stefanski on the program today. I believe you'll also hear, do we have Wyatt Teller on the program today?
You're right.
Wyatt on the Teller today. Wyatt Teller on the program today as well. You have another note?
Yeah, another little something coming in from Albert Breer on Twitter. And he says, one note we mentioned a few weeks back that has been nailed down now. The NFL's plan is for the Super Bowl teams to arrive in Los Angeles on Thursday of that week, 3 days before the game.
Wow. That's a big difference on Super Bowl week.
Last year, teams arrived on Saturday, the day before the game.
Well, yeah, that was in full COVID.
And pre-COVID, it was you were there for an entire week.
Right. They would fly out. It was always a big deal. They'd fly out on the Sunday before or the Saturday before, and then they'd be there. And then Media Day was always, Tuesday? Uh-huh. Media Day was Tuesday, which is a circus around it.
Oh,
man. But, yeah, that's wild. So that's a Thursday. It seems like they are pretty focused on keeping that thing in Los Angeles. There was a lot of talk about Jerry World and all of that, but it seems like they're pretty focused on it.
There's no doubt it is, and that's the way that they're going for it right now.
All right, very good. Coming up next from CBSSports.com, how to fix the Browns in 2022. We'll see if we agree with what they have to say. Plus, Coach coming up as well. We're off and running here on a Thursday. Cleveland Browns Daily, 850 ESPN.
We're not broken.
You're down. Real Estate Services, always a winning strategy. If you plan to make a move this season, they are going to have you covered at Howard Hanna. Every day is game day. Visit howardhanna.com/go Browns today. CBS Sports with the story today. Yes, Nathan, go ahead.
Real quick, as you get ready to sub the story, I propose that, because I think there's 6 things here, I'll handle the evens, you handle the odds.
No.
Yeah.
I refuse.
No, that's how I'll do it.
I don't need to read it because I feel like we know.
Should we bring Katie Prefers with us today on the board? Should we have her come in and she'll handle the odds?
She can handle the odds.
You handle the odds.
She's not
we'll
even
handle
in there.
the evens.
Do you have that? But it'd be nice if there was a button, right, that illuminated so you knew if you were on.
I don't know if she has the requisite force to get that button down.
Might not.
He's tripped it.
Okay.
Now you're on.
Yeah.
Yeah, all right.
Katie
So you're-
Prefer joining us on the program today.
Miss Katie, you're going to handle the odds on this, and then Nathan and I will handle the evens on
And
these
how to
problems.
fix the
how
Browns.
to fix the Browns. No.
Nope, she's gone again. Once you press it
Am I
once,
back?
there
Now
you go.
you're
Yeah,
back.
now just
Now
don't
you're
even touch
back.
it. Move your
I
hand.
won't touch it.
There you go.
But
I'm
now,
nervous.
she would be. Now you're on.
You are
always.
on the air.
Perfect.
So whatever you're
It is.
saying to Baco and anything else in there, that's going.
Yeah, until
For
the
the
next time you
millions
click
and
that
millions.
button. See, what we want, now that you're here, let me.
Why
hold
don't
on.
you ask her?
Let me engage.
Yeah, go ahead
yeah,
and
let me-
engage her, and then why don't you run by her your? No one's done this in any radio studio ever, by the way. What Nathan is proposing. So go
Yes,
ahead.
this is what I'm going to propose. So as you just saw right there, there's difficulty knowing, is my mic on or is it not, without talking and hearing it, right?
It's hard.
So I had this revolutionary idea that in a radio studio, how about you have a button that says on, off, and then cough. So you can press it, just to press that in case you have to cough so it wouldn't go out on over the air, because that'd be, nobody wants to hear anybody cough, especially not now. So you have that. But when the on button is pressed in, then you'd have this thing up here that would be a light that says on air. See, we have it right here, but this is actually not connected to anything. Now imagine if this was connected and this light was only on when your mic was on. And then if your mic was off, this light was off.
Is this one of your debates with?
Jason. Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you
Don't you think that would be helpful?
do you think it would be helpful if when your mic was hot, as we call it in the business,
in the biz,
a hot mic,
the industry.
if when your mic was hot, it was illuminated. There was some sort of illuminated
You knew.
sign knowing that it was on. Do you think that would be helpful,
I want to say yes, right? But I don't want to go against Gibbs.
Jason?
Yes.
So you'd
This
rather
is
be
just
wrong.
about right and wrong.
Your
I'm
loyalty.
Team Gibbs on this one. I promised him. I said, listen,
Oh,
if they
man.
try to get me to go against you, I have your back.
Sad.
But would it be helpful?
Do
Potentially.
you th-
Yes.
Is this the kind of discipline that is just passed down from your father, where it's just like, this is the chain of command? You, for some reason, have hitched your wagon to Gibbe's chain of command instead of the big B's out here, the money makers. You've hitched your wagon to Gibbe, so you're just going to blindly follow. So if Gibbe said, jump into a river, you're jumping into a river?
If there was, if he had a reason for me to.
Look at that.
I mean, let's
Look
be
at
honest.
that.
I just met Beau yesterday. So it's like, should my loyalty really lie to him?
Yes.
Probably not.
We've known each other a long time.
But
Your
yes,
family knows me.
That's true.
Just so you're aware, you are hitching your wagon to a man who thought Saturday Night Live was taped on Wednesday.
Fact. Fact. And fought with us about this.
Fought with us.
That
on
we were
the
all
air.
idiots.
That we were the idiots.
We've all had it wrong.
To be
Everybody.
fair, I thought the show that you're doing right now was only 30 minutes. So it's okay to
So
be
you're saying
Maybe
you've
it is.
hitched your wagon to a producer who hasn't even told you anything about when the show is on, how long it goes. So you're saying he prepared you to do this job today, not giving you any idea of how long the show was, what you actually would be in for, because on Tuesday you have the full show. Today it's just part Katie and then part Baco Nation, which everybody in Baco Nation's pumped about, by the way.
There's a big
You mean to
movement
tell
right
me
now, a lot of momentum.
you want to follow
social.
that person who clearly, imagine your dad back in the day when he was with the Navy, if he was given an incomplete mission briefing and then was asked to execute that mission at a high level. Well, there's a big piece of information missing. So don't you think in the future he would say, oh, these guys over here, they've got all the info.
All the answers.
They've got all the answers.
Yeah.
To be fair,
Maybe I'll follow those guys.
To be fair, when he was setting me up for today, he called it glorified babysitting. So
Wow. Look at how little that P is. Look how tiny that is. Do it side by side with the big B so that she maybe, some people are visual learners.
apparently not Gibbs.
Well, no, but look at the difference. So if I were to say, just based on these letters, based on these, you could you could hitch your wagon to one of those two things. Where are you going?
I feel like you want me to say the big B, right? So I should. Well, my last name's Prefer, so P.
But you're a big
You're just
P prefer.
identifying. Yeah, you're
a big P. You're selling yourself short. This is very sad.
Yeah, you hate to see it.
I mean, we have a chance to go. You and I have had, you've asked for constructive feedback. We've mentored and we've discussed, how you can advance your career in the world of broadcasting. And here are two professionals, multi-time Emmy winner. I would be if New Rob hadn't stabbed me in the back. Okay?
The New Rob stab is unbelievable.
It's hard to get over.
It's an unbelievable move.
It's still hard to get over. And we're right here for you. We're saying, come on in. Join us. So right now, we need to know, we're going forward together, or we're going forward with you and get me a guy who still has BGSU in his Twitter handle. When people have said, get rid of it, you're Gibbe.
At Gibbe.
At Gibbe.
Can I give you my answer by Tuesday? I feel like that's fair. Sleep on it.
Tomorrow.
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 Okay.
Tomorrow.
We'll
Tomorrow.
see. Guess we'll find out. It'll be a surprise for us all.
Hit the button.
You know what? There are times in life when you are faced with a decision. You're at a crossroads right now. That's where we're at. We're at a crossroads. One is the primrose path. It is gilded. It's full of good times, success, joy.
You're walking on rainbows.
Yeah.
That's all it is.
It's a gravy train with biscuit wheels.
That's it. The other, hard Scrabble.
A hard knock life.
A lot of schnitzel.
Tornadoes. Shower beers. I mean, we're talking about
Lawn
fine red wine or a beer in the shower mixed with shower water. I know what I would choose.
Yeah, I guess we'll see.
We'll find out what Katie chooses tomorrow.
How to fix the Browns in 22. Pass game?
Passing game. Number one.
Passing game, number
I
one.
think they
1
combine
through
them.
6.
Let's combine what they did with here 1 and 2. And we don't need to read them out loud. But what we'll say is the net of their recommendations here, the pass game. And so, I think that it's clear we need to get some talent at the wide receiver position. We need better play out of the quarterback position. And, we've heard from our GM that we feel, that's coming. A bounce back is coming. And so that's it. That's number one. And then I like their number 3, re-sign Clowney, Chief. And I'm going to add MJ Stewart to that list. I want him back. I really do.
I like him. Yeah.
I like him a lot.
Yeah. I think Chief feels like foregone conclusion. Clowney is the one that is really important.
Very important.
And I think you got to make sure. I mean, Chief, I know he wants to be here, and he fits exactly what you want to do.
I love that he said it.
Yeah.
I love that he said it. He and I shared an embrace in the tunnel after the final game, and I said to him, let's not let this be it. And he said,
did he roll his eyes at you?
No. He said, I don't want it
what's
to be
the next one?
Why would he roll his eyes at me?
What's next?
Find a difference-making mainstay at defensive tackle.
Well, we talked about that.
Yeah, we have. I think you need another interior pass rusher to complement the group you've got. You got Malik McDowell, who I think you found and unearthed is tremendous. And then you'll see what you got going on there. This is for Togiai to step up. This is Jordan Elliott. It's their time, the young guys. And I think Sheldon Day has given you good minutes whenever you've gotten an opportunity there. And number 5, tender a competitive offer to restricted free agent Dearness Johnson. I think you put a second-round tender on him automatically.
Yeah.
And then if somebody wants to sign him and pay him and make him their starter, great, you get a second-round pick.
Yep. I like it.
I would be nervous to put an original round tender on him, which means he was undrafted, so you'd get no compensation. I think if Dearness, you'd have the right to match, obviously, but I think Dearness Johnson at 25 years of age, this is a guy who's touched the ball I think 165 times total in his career. He's shown you he can do it.
Yeah.
And he fits our offense very nicely, and that gives you some natural succession planning at that spot, going forward with Chubb and Hunt. So, yeah.
Is there 6?
No, just 5.
Just 5. Okay.
I said 6 earlier just to get you onto the odds, make it feel like it was an even.
When you're trying to trick me?
Well, I wasn't trying to. I actually did think there were 6. I just hadn't made it down past 5.
Scroll
down. And then it went to another article.
And scroll down far enough.
Yeah.
One of the men who will be stewarding over the fix of that passing game and the man most responsible, Kevin Stefanski. He will be on this program coming up next. You're listening to Cleveland Browns Daily on 850 ESPN Cleveland. Yeah, we're good.
All right, you are up.
EOX Vantage has that local presence and the global footprint, trusted by some of the world's biggest brands. Here's Ed Shield, Vice President, Skyward Specialty.
Ed!
That's my guy.
You know what? His commitment to ensuring that it's his voice and his voice alone that compels you to get in touch with EOX Vantage is amazing to me.
It is. Well, they've done that good of a job for him. He says the tools that
Changed
they've
his
designed
life.
with EOX Vantage are real business changers that open the door for us for all sorts of valuable opportunities and efficiencies. They help our team members stay on the same page while collaborating remotely and make it easy to communicate with customers, cut way down on manual data entry and the associated input errors, and cut hours off processes and response times. Operationally, it's a brand new ballgame for us. It can be for you, too. I encourage you to learn more about EOX Vantage by visiting www.eoxvantage.com or call 216-298-1616. And now here is Coach.
Hold on real quick. I feel like Ed feels about EOX Vantage like Katie feels about Gibbe. Like there is that much
Loyalty.
reverence and loyalty
The
and
difference
just dedication.
is Ed has been working with EOX Vantage for a long time. Less.
I
here.
thought we went back farther than her.
You
and
thought
Gibbe.
wrong, brother. You
I
thought
mean,
wrong.
Preef and I, hanging out with the Secretary of the Navy together.
Nope. Not.
Sad.
Here's Coach at the podium.
So
You guys are down.
Well, that obviously it's something you'd always want to improve upon, but is that something that stands out a little bit?
I do think you have to be intentional, Tom. Like you mentioned, in these times that you are making sure that the guys are around each other and building those relationships. It's harder than ever with having two locker rooms and everybody wearing masks and those type of things. But I see guys that played hard for each other, and then I see guys that pushed each other and supported each other. But we'll always be intentional about finding ways to come together.
I'm sure you had this experience in Minnesota where a team maybe didn't live up to the expectations of the previous year, what have you. I know it's very hard to win in this league, Kevin. What are you going to take away from this year, though, in terms of just the expectations and maybe not matching them that'll serve you best going forward?
Well, I think for us, you have to apply some of these tough lessons you learn, and it's a tough lesson. Like we talked about as a team today, our record is 8-9. You own it, you wear it, and it's ultimately short of your goals. But moving forward is about finding ways to improve and learning from some of those lessons this year to make sure that we're better situated moving forward.
Hey, Kevin, are you able to give us kind of a feel for your staff? Do you expect to have everybody back?
Yes, I don't anticipate any major changes.
Okay. One thing I wanted to ask you about John Johnson III. He commented that he thought that, that there could be some things that the organization could do that would help the players a little bit. And he mentioned them in his exit interviews. And he said having a yoga instructor on site is something that he would, like. Is that not the case? Is it because of protocols? What is it? Kind of seems odd for an NFL team not to have that, but you probably could explain.
Yeah, I think you are a little limited there in terms of who you can bring in, Nate, with protocols. And we are always going to be searching for, new and better ways to do things. You know, I've mentioned to you guys before, want to look at some of the soft tissue injuries that we had and prevent the ones that are preventable if you can. So certainly we'll look at all those things. And you know, I'm always looking for our players to chime in on suggestions and definitely want to look into all of that stuff.
Kevin, what was the most frustrating part of the season?
I think, Matt, you sit back here and you look at and you watch all those games again and just missed opportunities. And I think that's kind of how it felt throughout the season. We weren't consistent enough to win consistently, to play 60 minutes of good complementary football. So it's a bunch of different things, but ultimately we just didn't take advantage of some of our opportunities.
And then I know it's the ultimate hindsight question as we talk about looking back on it, but would you have handled the Baker injury any differently? Is it a lot of people are saying as the season went on that maybe he should have sat down. Now that it's all done and we know where it's at, any different things you would have done?
Yeah, I think anytime, like I mentioned earlier, Matt, anytime you fall short, you second guess everything. You really do. Having said that, I just felt every single week I tried to make the best decision for the team with the information available. And that's really all I can do week in and week out. But in general, obviously there's a ton of things that we have to look at and learn from.
The production in the passing game this year has been a big focus because it was a struggle. No 600-yard receivers this year. David led the team with 4 touchdowns. So what is your, I guess, postseason dissection of that side of the ball really look like here? Or have you already kind of begun that process and have some things in your mind as far as what went wrong and what you can do to, correct that going forward?
Yeah, I think to your point, Daryl, I think this off season and spending a lot of time in that area and trying to find ways to improve is going to be a huge part of our off season. And with anything, as you can imagine, it's multifaceted, and we have to dig around and find those areas where we can improve. And what do we do well? Because there are elements of the pass game, elements of the run game that we do well, and then there are some that we just weren't good enough at. Now the question becomes, how do we improve them? And I think that's what this offseason and scheme evaluation, and like I mentioned, studying some other teams. You watch college tape, you try to find some additional schemes to add to the nuance of what you're doing.
Do you have any curiosity what it would be like to coach a game without the burden of play calling? Is that a discussion you might have with Van Pelt and others?
Yeah, I think all of that, Tony, is stuff that we will reflect on. We'll talk about. I will tell you, just from a coaching staff communication standpoint, I thought the guys did an outstanding job throughout the year, making sure that on those headsets that we're communicating throughout the week, that we're communicating, making sure that we're all on the same page. So I think AVP deserves a ton of credit in that regard.
Yeah, Kevin, first of all, in terms of Baker's shoulder injury and the harness and all of that, when we talked to all of the players this morning, they were, everybody, to a man was just talking about how injured he was and how he could have shut it down, and most people would have shut it down with that injury. So my first question is, how injured was he, and how much did the shoulder and the harness and all that have to do with his season? And then also, what gives you optimism, maybe even aside from the surgery, that things are going to be better with him in 2022?
It's not me. Yeah, Mary Kay, I think to the first part of the question, listen, I think we've really talked about it week in and week out. Baker fought through those injuries, was medically cleared to play, each of those weeks, and practiced throughout those weeks and felt good. I don't think, and you guys have spoken to Baker, I don't think Baker's using any of that as an excuse. And also, not denying that guys play through injuries. So he pushed through it. Again, I know there are plays and moments that he's going to want back. And that's part of playing football, playing quarterback position and trying to get better. So looking forward to him getting his surgery, spending some time in rehab, and then getting back on it and finding ways to improve.
What makes you, and what else makes you optimistic that if the injury wasn't this overwhelming thing that wrecked his season, what makes you think things will be better with him next year?
Yeah, I think Mary Kay, I think about it in terms of our entire team. We were inconsistent at times, and we just have to string better play together, both as a team and individually. And I've seen Baker play at a very high level, and I'm confident he'll get this surgery, and he's going to work real hard this offseason to bounce back.
Well, Mary Kay took my question sort of there, so I'll try to ask it a different way. So clearly the overall quarterback play wasn't good enough, any way you value it, for you guys to make the playoffs. And I know throughout the season, your response has been, we need to be better. I need to be better, not just Baker. But given that we saw him play so much better last season with basically the same personnel around him, the same coaching staff, the same scheme, now that the season is over, how much do you think the adversity he had faced with the injury, and then maybe that affecting his confidence to some degree as the season went on, not being able to play up to his capability, affected him? And then also, if he doesn't tear his labrum, do you feel like we see the same player we saw last year on the field?
I understand the question, Jake. It's just hard for me to speculate. Like I mentioned before, he battled through this injury, like a lot of the guys do. And I don't say that to minimize how he did that. He pushed through it, and I know he wants to perform better. I've seen him perform better. He played winning football for us. So I fully expect him to bounce back next year.
Hey, Kevin, I know we've talked so much about Baker's injuries and everything, but I kind of want to talk about the same aspect with your offensive line. Looking back on this year, you lose your all-pro tackle in Jack Conklin for the year. Jed Wills is playing through an injury since week 1. You guys lose your swing tackle in week 1. Just having to manage all of that, how much do you think it impacted the offensive performance this year?
Yeah, Ashley, I don't know that injuries are part of this game. Every single team faces injuries in some form or fashion. I don't think we're any different. Jack Conklin's a great player. To be without him, is not ideal. But I think that's our job as coaches. Our job as players is to next man up and get adjust whatever we're doing based on who's in there. So the different lineups along the offensive front are never what you're looking for. You're always looking for those 5 guys to play all 16, 17 games together. And that may not be realistic, and certainly wasn't for us.
Back in 30.
A lot of times after losses this year, you would bring up that you individually had to be better as a coach. I guess now with everything all said and done, what's your gut reaction of things you maybe could have done better this season?
Well, I definitely want to spend time looking at that, Ashley, and talking to the coaches and all of us reflecting on what we could have done better. And I certainly factor into that. And it's just about making sure we're giving our guys the opportunity to succeed. That's what we need to do.
Come back. You're up.
Coach there. Are we up? We up?
We're up.
Baco had a scramble.
We're up.
Baco slid in.
Baco Nation.
Look,
he's a big beef, that Baco.
This is when you think about what the press conference coach had Monday, the one that AB had.
Sure.
No one thought you'd be in this spot, and everyone it's well aware that the passing game has to get going. That held this team back. One of the biggest. There were so many things. It felt like everything that could go wrong offensively did, from an injury, and really. I was thinking about this. We talked about it a couple weeks ago, and I couldn't think of a single instance where we played one game with the team we intended. Now, Baltimore would be in a similar boat as us in that regard, in terms of just every bad luck thing.
They definitely did not.
They definitely did not, and I don't think we did either. I don't think we had one game where we played with everybody that you intended to play with.
No, but we needed to overcome. And you look at the teams, as we're being frank about it, the teams that are in the playoffs in our conference are teams that we played head-to-head and had an opportunity. Your 3 wild card teams, we played all 3 of them head-to-head.
Yep.
And we went 0-4 in those games.
Yeah.
And that's the difference.
Yeah.
It's just that simple.
No, it is. And last year you won those games, and that could have gone either way. You won a lot of those games, were clutch.
Yeah.
This year it didn't happen. We talked about the clutch gene and stuff, and that's something that comes. What you hope is that that you learn from this, and then you go about fixing it. And the fixing part of it is a multiple-pronged effort. because it's free agency, it's retaining your own guys, it's draft. It's the entire offseason. This is Andrew Berry's sweet spot right here, is putting in this work and getting these things sorted out.
And that's the thing, if you're a Browns fan, to feel the most confident about it. So far, whatever he's chosen to prioritize in an offseason has been a home run.
Yeah.
So I don't think we're going out on a limb. I think everybody in the world would say that the top priority for the Browns is to get this passing game fixed. Andrew Berry probably feels the same way, and that means that will be, the top option for the Browns. That'll be the number one priority, and I think that will mean it'll be addressed, and it'll be addressed successfully, which is, in my opinion, a very, very good thing.
Yeah, it should be a very, very good thing. Coming up in the second hour of the program, you will hear from Wyatt Teller. You will also we'll do a little playoff preview. We'll rank the quarterbacks left based on our confidence in them. So we have that to look forward to, which is very nice. We also have a segment here where it says all you guys.
It doesn't.
It doesn't even say that, to be fair.
It just implies.
And yet.
But I think hour number 2. Hold on. When's Baco take over?
Baco takes over at 2:00. I think so. Go ahead, Baco. Hit the button. Yeah, he knows.
Well, I was originally going to take over because I was supposed to be on a shoot today. So now we're both just kind of dual.
You guys just going to hang out?
Yeah, we're just hanging out today.
Well, single mic, or can we get a second mic set up in there?
Yeah, what we want to know is, when do you want to have your featured moment? Because a lot has happened for those out there in Baco Nation since the last time you were in this role.
That is true. Yeah.
Married man.
Married man.
That's right.
True. And I got my jersey.
He got the
dual.
We'll save it. Save it for the air. Save it for the air.
Save it for the air.
He's driven on the most treacherous road in the world successfully because he's here. That's right. Yeah. Oh,
I don't even know
ponder.
that.
Okay.
I don't even know that.
Yeah, so now let all that marinate
for
you.
What is the most dangerous road in the world? I look forward to that conversation. This will be fun. So among other things, in the second hour, also Katie did say that if all you have to do is talk, like, she can talk. So you and I are going to walk.
There is a chance that hour 2 will be nothing but this microphone and Katie Prefer. But we have to get that. We have to get that approved. We're going to run that up the flagpole.
Well, you and I are the flagpole, so I guess
we approve it.
We approve it. All right, Cleveland Browns Daily, 850 ESPN Cleveland. Gambling without setting limits on how much you're going to wager or how long you'll play is like a football team going into a game without a game plan. Probably going to end up in a loss. So always set limits before you bet. Get more tips like this at keepitfunohio.com. We have just I dug into the treasure trove of goodies that have been made for us through the years that Gibby outlawed.
Banned.
Much like Jade's music, just refuses.
She's a touring
renowned.
All right, Katie, you're back in. Katie, we need your opinion on this. Well, I want to see where you land on this.
All right, let's hear it.
We have a world-renowned musician, touring artist, based out of Australia, all true, the wonderful Jade, who has produced a bunch of songs, a theme song for the show. She's got a theme song for the half hour with Joe Thomas. She's got all kinds of little theme songs and jingles that could make these things. And she's like paid to perform. I mean, she goes literally tours around the world as a musician.
Why for the Browns if she's in Australia?
Because we're the world's team.
Oh, okay.
Jeez, Katie.
We're right there. Hold that up. Show her that one. Show her that one. She needs to see that.
Wow. I mean, incredible. So did you guys name yourself the world's radio team? Or?
No, we're not the world's radio team.
We're not the world's.
The Browns, see, like the Dallas Cowboys.
There's a lot of influences in her, though, I do think.
Yeah.
Some of Katie's answers are very Gibby.
They are. There is a lot of salty Gibby.
And you really, there's a lot
which
of
is stunning because
you never would have guessed.
Yeah. You think so nice.
No.
Sunshine.
But a lot of Gibby.
There is.
Full
So
surprises.
what would be the moniker of the Dallas Cowboys? What are they known as?
America's team.
Right. We're bigger than that. We have the largest international fan base, the Browns backers, largest fan club in the world. So when people say, "Oh, American," nay, world's team. You're welcome.
I love
so that's who we are. That's what we're about. So right now you are working on the radio show of the world's team, Cleveland Browns, which was exactly what it says on that plaque that was sent to us by one of our lovely fans. But so back to our original question.
And also, I believe, by the Secretary of the Navy.
That's right. That's right. Only such studio
that's ever.
Yeah. Yeah, that's right. So wouldn't you think if you had a world-renowned recording artist who wanted to make jingles for your program for free?
For free. Okay, well that makes it interesting.
For free.
For free.
Has sent them to you. You are in possession of them. You're running the show. You're Gibbe now. You have the power. And they're good. Like, it's not a joke. It's not like
Baco, pull one up. Pull up the like the Joe Thomas Hour jingle.
See if he can do it. If he can, I'll be very impressed. I think Gibby's probably got him in a secret folder.
No, I think if he just did it, I mean, you could always just go to Twitter because Browns Therapy puts it out. Yeah,
sure. Wouldn't you want to use those in the show?
Yes.
Okay.
Right answer. Good job.
So why? So
hold on. Something in now from the news desk on Wall Street. The Katie soaring right now.
Starting to climb back.
Starting to climb back. It's pulled out of the nosedive.
All right.
Learning so much today.
Yep.
Yeah.
Write it down. This is Gibby wants us to rank.
Like,
he wants us
if
to
my
rank,
eyes were closed, okay, and unfortunately they are not, because I do know that it's you that I do the show with after years of doing this. But that was Vince Vaughn. That was pure. That write it down that you just gave was pure
timing. I
Vince
take that as an
Vaughn.
incredible compliment.
Oh,
it wasn't trying to be, but
it's meant with the highest
yeah.
esteem. Yes, it is a compliment of the highest order. Bravo. Put it. Hold it up. Hold up. Yeah, that was a great moment there. I might have to make that into a ringtone.
Yeah. There you go. All right. Gibby wants us to.
Do
you have it?
One. I have the. Yeah. Joe Thomas Hoff
Play
song.
the Joe Thomas Hoff song.
All right. Can you hear this, Katie?
He's the Hoff. He's our man. It's the Joe Thomas Hour.
So good.
So great.
So let's hear. Wait, can we hear the one for this show?
I don't know that we have all of those in the repertoire. I mean, she sent them. I just don't know that they're all have. But I think at one point we played the Joe Thomas one.
Yeah.
Gibby was worried, I think, about playing it after a loss. Was his original reasoning was worried about that, the tone. And I said, boy, I just think it's great. I play it always.
It's
awesome.
I mean, how good is that?
And a dancing Hoff.
Like, are you the same person that you were at 204?
No, I don't think so.
Right.
No. All right. Gibby wants us to rank the quarterbacks we have confidence in left in the playoffs. This is the task he has given to us from afar. My hunch is this will be very similar to the team rankings that we did from 14 to 1 with a few minor adjustments. But I think we'll be very similar here. Who's 14?
So
least confidence in the quarterback.
Just to win a game?
Win a game.
How about, can we do it this way? Let's say
you want.
they've got the ball, down 4, 2 minutes to go, 3 timeouts. They got to go 80 yards.
Ooh, that changes it. I like what you did there. Yeah, that would change.
So let's
it.
isolate that. Like who is the guy?
Okay. All right. I like that. So do you want to go 1 down, or is it easier to go 14
I like going
to
14
1?
up. Let's go 14 up.
14 up?
All right.
Okay, go ahead. Who's 14 for you?
My 14 is going to be Mac Jones.
Yeah, I like that. He would be 14 for me with What was your scenario? Down 4, got to get a touchdown, a minute.
2 minutes to go, all
2
timeouts,
minutes to
gotta
go, all the
80 yards.
timeouts, 80 yards, got to get a touchdown. Yes,
but it's got to happen. It's going to have to happen through the year.
Yep.
Okay.
13.
I'm going to go Jalen Hurts here.
Same. Yeah.
But I feel like he's going to make some plays with his legs.
His legs would give you I thought about moving him up even a little bit, and there's one guy who is the quarterback of a really good team that I almost feel like there's a chance Hurts would be more dangerous. I think there's a possibility you'd be more worried about Hurts as a defensive coordinator because of the legs and the breaking down of that of broken plays going long than, for example, maybe even Tannehill or Jimmy G, even though I think those guys are better. But that Hurts' legs make him kind of a wild card in this thing.
I hear you.
All right, 12.
You can go first.
All right.
I'll give you the first nom on 12.
All right,
we'll go back and forth.
On 12, I will go. I'll go Tannehill here.
That's what I've got.
Yeah, I'll go Tannehill here.
All right, so we're same.
There's a path for them that is abundantly clear, and when they do it their way, they can do it. But it's just if it's any other way, I just don't have it. I don't have it at that point.
There's a lot of talking going on in there.
That's fine. We're doing a show.
We're doing a show.
Tannehill.
A couple professionals.
Tannehill. 12.
Yeah.
11.
So I'll go 11 here. Ben. And I know this one's controversial. I wanted to put him lower, but then I felt like he's still Ben.
It's just like you wouldn't be surprised.
I wouldn't be shocked, but I know how limited he is.
Like, take the fact they're playing Kansas City out of it, and it was just him with the ball needing a touchdown. Like, it's almost storybook.
7 yards.
I understand, but remember even how bad Manning was in the end. He still put together. There was an AFC Championship. He still put together a drive just on veteran savvy and all of that.
All right, so you're going to talk me out of he's out at 11? You don't subscribe to this?
No, I mean, I think he's got to be here because from a talent standpoint, he would be 14 where he is. It's just a matter of the gutsiness of it. Like, him and Jimmy G and Carr are kind of that next group for me.
That's what I got. Okay, I'm with you on that.
So you have those three guys in some area there.
I had Roethlisberger 11, Carr 10, Garoppolo 9.
Okay, so I just inverted Ben and Garoppolo. I had Ben just because I could see it.
You had Ben 9 and Garoppolo 11.
Right.
Okay.
And then this gets into pretty heavy territory here. So now we're at 7.
Yep.
Dak.
No, we're at 8. We're at 8.
8. Dak.
8 Dak over Kyler.
Yeah.
Okay.
The wheels on Kyler would make me nervous if I was trying to defend it.
Kyler's going to be then 6 for me.
Okay, I have Kyler 7. Who did you have?
I mean
8?
7 for me. 7 for me. I had him 8 originally. I had Kyler, Dak were my next 2.
Okay. So now we're at 6. Here I go Stafford.
That's your guy.
It is my guy, but the
Come on,
guy's
that's your guy. That's
the other. I'm sorry, I still.
You right now?
He's thrown a lot of picks in the last month.
Josh Allen, Stafford.
The wheels with Allen are just. I always think about wheels. I mean, you said all timeouts, so we can scramble.
Of course,
you got to remember that. Like, it's not like we got to sit there and throw it. Like, we can take off and run. We have all of our timeouts. So Allen's ability to pick up 27 yards on a scramble is terrifying. Stafford, the last month,
maybe he's banged up.
I think he probably is.
Must be.
I've heard lose a little bit of that.
Big part of his career.
It could be, yeah. Injury prone. I have Allen 5.
Okay, so we have the same top 4, which is incredible.
Yeah.
4 Burrow.
Burrow 4.
Mahomes
3. Rodgers, Brady. What do you want out of us?
Joe Burrow 4th. Think about that.
I think he's the coolest damn customer, man.
I mean, he's Joe Cool, like your childhood hero.
And I think, you also, with all of these guys, you can't separate the circumstances they're in from their play. And his circumstance, I mean, is it fair to say that the Bengals have the best weapons left, even considering the Chiefs, because you had Mixon into it?
Yeah, and the Chiefs have 2.
The Chiefs have 2. The Bengals have
4.
Kind of 4.
I mean, not on the same level.
No,
I mean, the Chiefs
but
too.
Chase, so if you were just do that, like if you did like most talented,
just real
you'd
quick,
go
off the top of our
Kelsey, Hill, Chase, or I mean, Chase
let's just draft skill position players. We'll do 12 picks, and you can have first pick.
What are we doing? Just off those 2 teams, or off anybody left?
Anybody in the playoffs. Skill position players that are left in the playoffs. Anybody at all. I'll give you the first pick. Or you want me to take the first pick? So
I'm just trying to look through all these and remember everything. I mean, that's a lot of skill position talent.
It is.
It was easier when we were just doing 2 teams and trying to pick 5 versus trying to pick the whole league.
I'm here for a challenge.
I would say
we want to push that to 215. Since 215's us, you want to we'll do a draft of skill position
I like
players.
That. Let's do that coming up next. We can put some real thought to it. Okay. Skill position draft of who's remaining. We'll pick. Are we going to do 10? We'll each do 5,
or we'll each get 10.
Or
we'll each do 5. That's the ultimate skill position team.
Skill position team.
Yeah.
And does it have to be every position, or can it be any 5 you want? Do you have to have a running back, for example?
3 receivers,
and a running back, and do you have to have a
tight end?
You go 4 wide.
Yeah,
go
forward.
Okay, I'm for that. All right, Cleveland Browns Daily 850 ESPN Cleveland.
You're down.
It's cold outside. Would a nice hot bath or shower feel outstanding? Why not transform your bathroom into a custom bath? It's going to feel like a spa. Let the Bath Authority make this a reality for you at a fraction of the cost of the competitors. The Bath Authority is Cleveland's premier bath and shower remodeler, expert factory-trained installers. Call now for $500 off your next custom bath or shower remodel. Give them a call, 216-220-8399, or go to thebathauthority.com, where affordability meets quality. It's the largest selection of bath projects, all made in the United States. Change your bathroom from outdated to outstanding. Acrylic tubs that insulate and keep the heat in. Tub to shower conversions. They will take care of you. Superior products with expert installers at the Bath Authority. All right. We're drafting this thing, skill positions. You want me to go first? Is that what we did?
Yeah. Do you want first pick or do you want second
and third? Are you doing
and
it
third?
snake or are you doing it second, third?
Yeah,
then I want second, third.
You want second and third. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. With the first pick, I select Davante Adams, wide receiver, Green Bay Packers.
I got Cup and Chase.
It's not bad.
There's a ton of skill left, dude.
But I like what I'm going to come back with.
Well, I like what
right
you're going to
here.
do here is pretty good, too.
I'm going to take Tyreek Hill.
Yep. This is where it's an interesting one for you here, I think.
And I'm going to take Travis Kelce.
Okay, I'm going to take Debo and Kittle.
Love it. All right. And I'm going to take the returning sight unseen, but I'm pretty sure he's going to be able to run the ball when teams are worried about Davante Adams, Tyreek Hill, and Travis Kelce. Derrick Henry.
Okay, take Henry out of it because we don't know what his form is. So take him out of it. Well, you're still going to get the best running back. And I'll get the other one. I'm curious just who you would pick here. Because Henry's the natural. It's just he hasn't played. So you don't know what you're going to get. Based on who you know what you're going to get, who would you take as your number one running back? Because I think this gets to the bigger question we were talking about of best skill position groups left. This might answer it. Go ahead.
So I'm probably going to take then Mixon.
And I'd take Najee.
You take Najee. All right. And then my last receiver.
Well, we're only doing 5.
I know, but I still have one more.
Oh, yeah, you got
I
one
have
more.
Devontae,
That's right.
Tyreek,
right.
Kelce,
Okay.
Mixon, and I'm debating between Mike Evans, CeeDee Lamb, and Stephon Diggs would be the 3 people that I'd be debating between. I've got Devontae, so I don't know that I need another big and Kelce. I've got Tyreek, which is speed, so I probably want the guy that can do literally everything and be maybe a route runner. I'll probably take Stephon Diggs here. Oh, yeah.
Lamb would be Lamb would be pretty good with what you have.
I have
His
Lamb
ability
ranked ahead of him.
Yeah, I would go Lamb.
All right.
Yeah, I like Lamb there.
All right.
So this goes to the point though I was making, in regard to the Bengals skill players. I mean Chase, Mixon, and then you add into that Higgins and Boyd. That foursome is pretty formidable.
It's very formidable. But so, it's interesting when you see it. So we have 2 Chiefs, we have 2 Bengals, 2 Niners, which you selected, both of them.
Yeah. Well, this is why, if you're Kyle, why you're chasing the golden quarterback.
And listen, Elijah Mitchell is a darn good running back that they drafted in the 6th round, and Ayuk, their first-round pick a year ago, is giving you 100 yards every week now all of a sudden. He's kind of come alive. But this is interesting. Your team, you've got Chase, Debo, you have Kupp. You've got a lot of just kind of guys that can do everything, literally everything. Kupp is obviously won the Triple Crown. Chase is as dangerous as anybody home run hitter. Debo, you didn't even need to draft a running. You could have said, I'm going to play Debo at running back.
I could have, yeah.
Taken and put Diggs on that team, or Mike Evans. Mike Evans actually would be a good fit on your team.
You need a little bit of size. Yeah.
You need a little size.
A little size on the outside, yeah.
But, Devontae, Hill, Kelce, CeeDee Lamb, sheesh.
Yeah.
That's pretty formidable.
Yeah. There's a ton of talent left. And so that's why when you're doing the ranking of the quarterbacks in the spots you're in and you tie them to the skill position, we still have Brady 1, and we're doing that just out of respect for how Brady is, and he's only got 1 guy, and that's it because of the injuries and everything else that have happened. Right?
Gronk, you could listen. Gronk just produces.
He's just going to be clutch.
But
we only have 1 Packer.
Yeah, just Devontae.
Just Devontae.
In my top 20, Aaron Jones made it into the top 20, but at the end.
Right.
You've got, from the Titans, you'd have A.J. Brown, Henry. The ones that are wild are like the Raiders. Waller just came back and was not Waller in that game. Is Renfro the best guy on the Raiders right now? They don't have.
Seems to be.
The Cardinals have. James Conner scored a lot of touchdowns this year, but they don't have that one guy.
No, not without Hopkins. Not with Hopkins out.
And Zach Ertz was their most productive receiver down the stretch.
Right. Did you have anybody from Philly on the list?
Nobody from Philly.
Nobody from
and if
Philly.
you did, I mean, Devontae Smith is pretty darn good.
Yeah.
And so is Dallas Goedert. But it is interesting, just kind of the disparity. And take a team, like the Rams. The only guy that's on the list from the Rams is Kupp.
Right.
Woods would have been on the list, obviously, if he was healthy. Odell scored a lot, but he is in that passing game. They throw it to Kupp. Kupp's 1, 2, and 3.
Oh, gosh.
Odell's like 4, Higbee 5, and then they've been running it with Sony Michel. From a skill position standpoint, what's interesting is that the AFC, I feel like, is more diverse than the NFC. You have a couple teams, like Arizona would have nobody on the list.
Philly would have nobody.
Philly, nobody really. The Bucks 1. Packers 1. Rams 1.
Cowboys. Did you have 2 Cowboys?
You could maybe make. I don't know if Amari didn't produce like a guy that
No,
you want
he didn't
on that list.
He didn't, and Zeke hasn't been Zeke for a while.
No. Interesting. But the talent, the Bengals, Chiefs, Niners, maybe top to bottom, have the most talent. And I think the Steelers have Deontay and Najee, which gives them, and Chase Claypool's fine. I mean, he wouldn't be drafted in this scenario at all, but. They've got some. They still do have some skill talent.
Yeah.
But the Bills, it's kind of a stunning thing that it's Diggs, and now Singletary's played well of late, but he's not, climbing in the mix here.
No, and that's I think when you think about you ask yourself the question, how did Cincinnati get here this quick? Well, they drafted for it. Is how they got here this quick. Last year's draft was Higgins and Burrow. This year's draft is Chase. So how do you get this? You land on a franchise quarterback. You draft number 1 and number 2 receivers in back-to-back drafts, and you're there. And you already had Mixon. They already had Boyd. So that was the objective, and they knocked it out of the park. If they miss on either of the receivers, then you're not here. But they hit on them both. And Chase,
they've hit on it all.
Chase's ceiling, Chase elevated everything down there. There was so much dialogue about Penei Sewell. They had to take Penei Sewell. You just don't game plan for left tackles. You game plan for game breakers. And Chase had to be great, and he was. He was from the rookie class. Him and Micah Parsons changed teams. They changed trajectory of teams.
Listen, this was a draft that had a lot of things that I would say, a lot of guys who changed directions of teams. Now, in one sense, you talk about Chase, who you mentioned, Parsons. I think Waddle had a profound – Waddle had a phenomenal season down there with the Miami Dolphins. This was a good draft. It was a flat-out – it was a good draft.
Would
you
rather
did well.
Would you rather have had the Alabama receiving core from 2 years ago or the LSU receiving core from 2 years ago?
LSU.
But it's close.
It's really close.
Yeah.
Because you're talking about Judy hasn't been what you wanted
because of the injury stuff.
Because the injuries in the pro. Waddle looks great. Smith looks great.
And
then you had Ruggs, who, again, not. Chase and Jefferson 2 seasons. Those are the 3 most productive seasons that have been had. Waddle's would probably be 4th.
Right. And the 2 LSU guys, if you're redrafting wide receiver right now, they're both in the top 5. On the futures front, they're both on the top 5.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
They're probably.
They both played
on
the same team.
They might be the top 2.
They might be, yeah.
And the Kupp would be right there.
Right. And the 3 Bama guys would all be – Judy's the only one just because of the injuries, but Waddle and Smith are studs. Yeah.
Yes.
What game are you – we'll get into it more tomorrow. What game are you most looking forward to other than Niners-Cowboys?
Second might as well be 8th, as I like to say. Honestly, that is my – we'll talk, but that is –
That's your tail – you're going to be –
That's the one where I said that is the one game that I must watch from start to finish. That's what I told the fam. I said, what is it, Sunday at 4:30.
The 4 o'clock window, yeah.
Sunday, 4 o'clock. I said, that game I want to sit down and I want to watch that game.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I'll have it. They'll be on for sure, and I'll soak some of them in, but that's definitely number 1. I'll have to think about it. Maybe we'll do a segment on it tomorrow.
Maybe we'll do a segment on that tomorrow, perhaps. And also the scores coming tomorrow. Baco going to administer the scores?
Yeah.
I like it. Perfect.
The kid wanted to throw his hat in the ring with us in some playoff scores.
He wants to pick the scores with us or administer the scores.
He's he could do either. He'd be a great administrator. But
I feel about calls.
He'd also pick. You're saying we'd have to bring him in here? I don't think we can bring him in here. I think it's allowed.
I came in.
You did.
Hey, Jay.
You're here. Isn't this our time?
Why not?
Mr. Hond?
OBM, Ohio Business Machine, preferred copier provider, your Cleveland Browns. They have all the X's and O's for your office. Call 216-485-2000 or visit ohiobusinessmachines.com. Wyatt Teller up next. You're listening to Cleveland Browns Daily on 850 ESPN Cleveland.
You're down.
When a medical mistake causes you injury, call the medical malpractice attorneys at 1-800-ELK Ohio. Elk & Elk is a proud partner of your Cleveland Browns. And now let's go back to locker cleanout day and Pro Bowl guard Wyatt Teller.
Hey, Wyatt, thanks.
You guys are down 9.5.
Should this team be in the playoffs?
Yeah, I think that this year, we didn't meet up to the hype. Beginning of the year, we were we were talking about Super Bowl and playoffs and all stuff. And, I feel that we underachieved, which sucks, right? Just being candid, and, it just didn't end up the way we wanted it to, which sucks. But at the end of the day, we have good players. We have a good team. It just shows you the power of finishing, right? Last year, we were one of the best finishing teams in the NFL, and we were, 12-4, 12-5, and we were playing at a very high level. And, really what changed, play X's and O's are the same. The players were the same. Yeah, we had injuries and stuff, but every team had injuries, is, finishing right in the fourth quarter, is not only getting the lead, but keeping the lead till clock hits 0. So that's something that, I think that we need to control what we can control. And that's, something we can do.
As guys leave today, Wyatt, is that the general consensus that this team is still capable of doing good things, that it still has a great core going forward?
Of course. And I'm still proud to be a Brown. I'm still proud to call Cleveland home and spend 4 more years here. There's no doubt about it. Like I said, it sucks, right? There's a lot of teams that are going home that have good players, that have a good core. It sucks. I don't think that, we have to invent the circle here. I think that we have, good things in Cleveland and a good team behind us. It's just, we got to finish.
Hey, Wyatt. Obviously, there's so much talk about Baker and him, fighting through injuries all season long. Where do you think the confidence level in the locker room is with your quarterback?
Yeah, no, I mean, I feel that, fighting through an injury is tough, right? We all do it. We always have to, fight through it. But, a hand being clubbed up for an offensive lineman, yeah, that sucks, but I can still do it. Having a shoulder where everything, it hurts, man. And you're just like pitchers, my brother played baseball, and, you always hear your front arm aims, you're aiming with your front arm and you're throwing over. So if that's not feeling good, it's going to be difficult. And he's tough as nails. Baker is tough as nails. But it's hard, man. There's the best of the best. So, I think that it's hard, but I love Baker, and he's my guy. It sucks that he got hurt, but, I pray that this offseason is good to him. He gets back to, 110% and ready to rear and go.
Hey, Wyatt, along those lines, I hear what you're saying. Do you think anybody on the team has any issue with Baker sitting out the finale?
No, I couldn't imagine. Anybody is upset. You want to play every snap. That's just the competitor in you. Baker is extremely competitive. I know that he wants to be out there, but I don't see any point in getting touched again this year, right? Like I want to win games, and I want, Baker to be out there, and I don't want Baker to get touched, right? But that's not always the case. So speaking of Case, so that's why we had Case, and and I think Case did a great job. I think Case is a great leader, great guy, and we got a win. It was, a little closer than I wish we were. We were on a roll and then made it a little closer. That's kind of what I mean about finishing. But yeah, no, I think that, Baker has to take care of his body, and, if that's playing the last game or not, that's, a decision he makes and the coaches make.
Yeah, Wyatt, do you have any thoughts, looking back at this season, that it might have gone differently, had Baker not tried to make that tackle on the interception in week 2?
Hey, tackling's hard, okay? I got in trouble yesterday for tackling. I can't tackle with crap. No, it sucks. I wish that never happened, but that's a part of the game. We all have to kind of deal with it. I kind of, hindsight's 2020, right? We can always have our opinion now, right? But in the moment, you're looking at Baker and you're saying, hey, Baker's tough, right? Baker, can you push through this? And of course, Baker's going to say, yeah, this doesn't hurt. What's this? I saw his shoulder go out, and they said, popped it back in, and he went in the next play. That's who Baker is. He's tough as nails. So like, hindsight is, hey, should we have put him down? Should we have let him heal? We don't know. And would he have let that happen anyway? No. So, shoulda, coulda, woulda. It sucks, man. You don't ever want to get your quarterback hurt, but it's all in offensive line inconsistencies, right? Like playing well, sometimes not playing well. Injuries. there was a lot of things that we can point to, but at the end of the day, every team has to kind of roll with those. Every team has to deal with a bum shoulder. Every team has to deal with a sprained ankle. You know what I mean? Like it's kind of, the saying, yeah, no one cares. Your shoulders hurt, no one cares. Your hands hurt, everybody's hands hurt, right? And that's kind of the mindset. We all have to roll with the punches. Again, I wish that it ended up differently. I wish that he didn't hurt his shoulder and he was 100% all year, but that's not the case. So I think that he's going to work hard this offseason and we'll get better.
Hey, Wyatt, I know we've talked about Baker's injuries, but I wanted to ask you about a couple of your guys. So losing Jack Conklin the way you did and seeing him go through everything he did with his injuries this year, just how do you think that impacted you guys as an offensive line and as an offense as a whole to lose an all-pro guy like him?
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, you hit the nail on the head. It's tough. I mean, he's an all-pro guy. He's a leader in the offensive line room. He works extremely hard. He's a great, person to watch for young guys. And it sucks. He's fighting as hard as he can to get back. And, you can do everything mentally that you can. If your body doesn't want you to play, it's not going to play. So, it does suck. Inconsistencies, among the offensive line. I think we had a lot of different, players coming in and out. We lose our backup, our swing tackle game one, right? It's just, we didn't get a lot of breaks this year. What the heck? The football gods do not like Cleveland. What the heck? But I'm kidding. We just need to get a couple breaks like that. You stay healthy and hopefully play well. Obviously we all miss Jack and, that sucks. And, it always hurts because Jack does everything right and his body lets him down. But, I think that he's going to come back and he's going to, be strong and be ready to go because, he didn't play football but half the year. So I know he's missing it. So.
Wyatt, going to the other side of the line there, Jed struggled early on with that ankle injury. And I know he probably didn't have the exact kind of season he wanted. Then he got COVID and all that kind of stuff. So what do you see for Jed? And were you kind of instrumental in kind of, helping him get through a little bit of a rough year? What's the outlook for Jed?
Yeah, no, that Jed is a great player. I think that Jed just, needs to work, he just needs to get after it. And I love Jed. And like I said, I talked to Jed on the sidelines. Jed's my dog, but there's certain things that it's like, hey, fight through the injury. Kind of like what I was saying, like my hands hurt, my shoulders hurt, my ankles hurt. You got to play. It sucks, and even looking at how, almost in a luck or getting a break in a way where it's like last year we had guys who could play guard for me so I could rehab. We lost our our swing tackle game one. So Jed didn't really have an option but to play, and that's really what you have to do. So it sucks, but I think that Jed is a great player. Jed just he's got to do it. He's got to go out there and play hard, and that's kind of where I was. I didn't think that I played as well as I could have this year. So that's the same thing. I say, Jed, don't be afraid to call what the issues are. If something's a problem, if you have a bad ankle, double tape that thing and push it through, because at the end of the day, everybody has to deal with that, right? And I think that Jed's going to come back
in 30.
I was actually talking to him. I was like, hey, come out, work out with me. We can work out this off season and we'll get going. And he, I think he might come back. That would be cool. Spend some time here. But I think that, Jed's gonna be all right. He's just gotta, get to the work, understand that work is a good thing, right? Everybody wants to say that work is bad. I want to be on vacation. Well, right now vacation would be kind of nice, but work is a good thing. It's not always a bad thing. So, just kind of get that mindset into him would, try to help him out a little bit.
You're up. This offensive line for a couple of years has been the strength of the team. I don't know if you give enough attention to what happened with Jack. And certainly we did here.
Yeah, it's massive.
But so much of a lot of what happened and much of what happened in from the offensive standpoint, from a struggle standpoint, that was a massive blow. This is a first-team All-Pro from the year before at right tackle.
Which means what?
The best.
The best.
The best.
Yeah, that scene in Baltimore when he's walking off the field after, remember, he was out with the elbow, and then he comes back, and, then he suffers that injury, and when he walked off under his own power, was trying to walk off, and then his leg just collapsed in front of my very eyes, was very difficult to watch, and that was an issue for the Browns. It was an issue for the Browns all year, really, after that point. And, Blake Hance performed admirably. I think James Hudson performed admirably as well as a rookie, and he's a guy that you're going to count on to really improve this offseason and, perhaps take over that swing tackle role for you, and maybe Chris Hubbard will be back.
Well,
that was the other thing. You never had Chris Hubbard.
Never had Chris.
And that was somebody that you had counted on, really was probably your top backup at just about every offensive line position.
Yeah, that was another part of it. I think Hudson was one of the more improved players. If you think about his early season playing time when he was forced in and some of what we saw to how competent he was at the end, he came a long way under Bill Callahan's tutelage.
There's no doubt. You think about when he went in against Minnesota in week 4, and it was not great.
Not great.
He didn't know where he was going. Assignment, a lot of things were problematic. And if it weren't for Joel Bitonio being next to him on those, there could have been a lot of real problems. But he has come a long way. And he's a guy, remember, he's so young playing the position. His year that he started at left tackle at Cincinnati, his first year he'd been an offensive lineman. He's a guy who was a defensive line recruit and player at Michigan before he transfers to Cincinnati. So, yeah, and this offseason, I think he makes a big, big jump, and you're going to need it because you need to find out, can he be our backup swing tackle? Does Jack Conklin come back, and is he able to be the Jack Conklin? That's a significant injury. The patella tendon, that's a real
It's a monster, man, and it's
difficult injury.
At this point of his career, I think that's one of the things. We talk about fixing the passing game. We talk about Clowney, but also, right tackle and what is Jack's – how does it go? How's the rehab? What does that look like for him? When can he get back? Does he want to? Does he want to get back into all of that? I would think, but you just never know until you're in that thing,
Right, and that's the hard part. And for the Browns, that's one of those. That's an unknown, which is why whether it be Hudson, whether it be Hubbard, whether you look to bring in somebody else, that backup tackle spot or potentially starting right tackle spot. That's an important one that has to be addressed. That is, in very much, as you say, a part of what you do, to improve this passing game going into 2022.
Yeah, it's going to be. There's a lot of layers to it. Certainly, good having Wyatt though locked up long term, Joel long term, and the middle of that offensive line and the strength of it. You're thinking as I was walking in today, talking to one of the luminaries, and you think about all of the injuries that you had, and yes, other teams overcame them, but I think without question, us in Baltimore went through more than anybody. When you think about significant players injured, those are the two teams that jump out to you, and you just go, my God, it was everybody.
The fact they were in it until the last week is nuts.
Yeah,
decimated. Lamar misses a quarter of the season. You don't have either of your top 2 running backs. You don't have one of your corners basically the entire year. You end up with both of your top 2 corners, who, by the way, are maybe the best corner duo in the league in Marlon Humphrey and Marcus Peters. You don't have your starting free safety. They didn't have their left tackle all year. They got rid of their right tackle. They traded him to the Chiefs. So when you think of what that team was supposed to look like, and yes, you had Mark Andrews played the whole year. That's great, but nothing like it was supposed to look like. Nothing. And the fact that they were around 500, I think they ended up 8-9. Like we did, I think, or maybe.
Yeah, were they 9-8 or 8-9? I can't remember which one they ended up with. I think it was 8-9. I think you have that right because it really fell apart down the stretch for them. But
that
the
has
injuries
because
just
we're
kept
third in the
stacking.
division. They're fourth.
They're fourth. Yeah. So 8-9 is what it ended up. But it was really remarkable. Those two teams. You go back to preseason projections and what you think those teams would be. You never know how the injury bug's going to hit you. We were hit by the injury bug and the COVID bug. Many teams were. By the way, I've not seen any player test positive for COVID leading into the playoffs.
Exactly.
That was last year too. Remember?
No, we got a tough break.
Yeah. And you just can't account for those type of things. Still so much more to come. You're listening to Cleveland Browns Daily on 850 ESPN Cleveland. Injury, call the medical malpractice attorneys at 1-800-ELK-OHIO. Elk & Elk's a proud partner of your Cleveland Browns. You have some news for us.
Yeah, the NFL announcing that Nick Chubb is a finalist for the FedEx Ground Player of the Year, which is very exciting. The National Football League announced today that quarterbacks Tom Brady, Justin Herbert, Matthew Stafford are the finalists for the 2021 FedEx Air Player of the Year honors, while running backs Nick Chubb, Joe Mixon, who we just talked about, and Jonathan Taylor are the finalists for the 2021 FedEx Ground NFL Player of the Year. Now, what's interesting about this, and it would have been better if Herbert and company could have just made it in the playoffs, that you would have said, well, all the quarterbacks are. Well, two of the quarterbacks have made the playoffs. Well, one of the running backs has made the playoffs, that being Joe Mixon.
Rodgers not on the FedEx Air?
I don't know what you got to do there, brother, because you can't do it much better than he did. And his efficiency, his touchdown-interception ratio. He has the 5 best touchdown-interception ratios in NFL history.
Yeah, I feel like that.
They're all his.
That ought to make you air attack of the year guy or whatever.
You would think. Yeah, so there it is. In the weeks leading up to Super Bowl, what is this, 56? Wow. Fans have to brush up on my Roman.
Do they still do the
LVI?
LVI?
Yes, 56, yeah.
It was so great with the X's.
Oh, yeah.
The X's were
great.
so strong.
Yeah.
L is a different look.
It's not as fun.
No. I also liked in the old days on the NFL, on the Super Bowl, when every Super Bowl logo was unique to the site.
Agreed.
As opposed to just, now they just all look the same.
No, right. You have some flavor local. Like when the
local flavor,
the NBA All-Star Game logo used to be very much local. San Antonio had a tremendous one. As I recall.
Right.
So in the weeks leading up to Super Bowl 56, fans have the chance to cast their vote for one quarterback and one running back, the one that they feel has had the season's best air and ground performance. Today through February 10th at 12 a.m. Eastern, fans can cast their vote for each category at NFL.com/FedEx via a Twitter poll on the NFL handle, official handle at NFL, or the NFL mobile app. For 19 years, FedEx has recognized NFL quarterbacks and running backs voted by fans each week to be delivering the best performances for their fans and teammates each season. You can help celebrate these standout performances by voting for the FedEx Air and Ground NFL Players of the Year.
How many times do you think Aaron Rodgers has been a first-team All-Pro quarterback?
Great question. Hasn't he been he's a 3 or 4-time MVP?
3.
And he's looking to get number 4, which is why Peyton was like, don't get another one. You don't need to join the club. So I'll say he's a...
He said stop at 4.
Stop.
Don't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think he's got to at least be a 3-time first-team All-Pro, but it's probably lower than that based on the
No, you've nailed
question.
it. You've guessed the stats correctly. How many times do you think Brady has been a first-team All-Pro?
Did you hear what just happened there, Katie? Were you paying attention? A guess the stats, nailed it. We've done guess stats with Gibbs for years. Never nailed it. Add that to your decision-making process.
Brady, first-team All-Pro.
5. Also 3.
Just
Peyton.
3.
How many Peytons? 7?
Peyton's a ton.
7.
I think he's most among quarterbacks, isn't he? Him and Otto, maybe?
Yeah.
I think it's – he's a
Steve
5-time MVP. Manning is.
On Pro Football Reference, it'll tell you his.
Yeah, I was pulling it up. 7-time All-Pro.
Oh.
3 straight. The All-Pro thing is so brutal. Like Bobby Wagner has made like 6, I think.
Yeah, he was going to set the record 7 in a row.
Yeah,
but I don't think he's going to get it this year.
I don't think he's going to get it this year.
No.
But I'm lying. It'd be silly for me to sit up here and act like I know if he's had a good year or not. I have no idea if he's had a good year or not. It's not like I'm watching Seahawks games.
No.
They weren't in the stream of consciousness in the
He
late
has
window.
going for him, though, that he's won 6 in a row, and that could, like, who are you going to vote for at middle linebacker? Oh, maybe I'll vote for Bobby Wagner because that's just what we've done, and it's worked so well. So I don't know.
6-time first-team All-Pro. He's made 5 in a row. So he's going for his 6th and is going for his 7th overall. Like, that's first ballot Hall of Fame. He actually has made 7 All-Pro teams because in 15 he was second-team All-Pro.
Yeah,
so he's made 7.
He's 100% first-team All-Pro.
Yeah, he's made 7 of them.
First ballot Hall of Famer, Bobby Wagner. Yeah. Just
Yeah.
like our guy, the Hoff, with 6. He has 6.
When is that? Is that not this year, next?
I believe. 23.
My God.
Right,
because
18, you have to be out 5 years.
Yeah.
18, 19, 20, 21, 22. Yeah, you can go in 23.
What are we doing for that?
What aren't we doing? I think that's a better list to make.
I like it. I like where your head's at.
Thank
We're
you.
back tomorrow. Next level up next. Cleveland Browns Daily.
Katie's big
8:50.
decision tomorrow.
Is it?
Yeah. I mean, it's an easy decision,
Right.
but a big
Right.
reveal.
We'll see. 850 ESPN Cleveland.
You're down. Great job.